After 2 decades in politics, Julie Bishop's decision to quit the front bench marks the end of an era. Seen as the most influential woman in the Liberal Party, Ms Bishop's juggled her dual roles as party deputy and as Australia's chief diplomat at large for the last 5 years. Political reporter Matthew Doran looks back at her career.
For more than a decade, whenever the Liberals' leadership reared its head, so has Julie Bishop's. First with Brendan Nelson, then with Malcolm Turnbull, next with Tony Abbott, then back to the second one.
Thank you, Malcolm.
And she stayed with Malcolm Turnbull right to the end.
The fact is the result today was an overwhelming vote of support for the Prime Minister.
Aged 62, Julie Bishop's been in Parliament since 1998.
I've been left with a sense of increasing scepticism and frustration. Whatever the position, we as parliamentarians must confront it.
Through longevity, she became the leading Liberal of the West, a hard-working campaigner, a mentor to women and successful fundraiser. Incessant travels are part of being an MP from WA, but Julie Bishop's turned it into a lifestyle. She's been Foreign Minister for 5 years, tending more recently to strained ties with China through its expanding power.
Australia reassures China that we are a reliable partner.
And forging regional alliances across Southeast Asia to balance against it.
We're seen as a very reliable partner.
She's also forged alliances across the Pacific, and ones that cross the political divide.
A highly effective Australian Foreign Minister.
Rarely one to show emotion, Ms Bishop did when holding Russia to account for the attack on MH17 with the loss of almost 300 lives.
As our kids always said, peace out.
Energy was her trademark. No day of diplomacy would start without exertion, by herself or with reluctant counterparts.
Absolutely.
Julie Bishop hasn't yet announced whether she'll quit politics altogether at the next federal election. But mixed among the tributes today, speculative whispers of a possible future role. Governor-General is one of them. Matthew Doran, ABC News, Canberra.
And National Affairs correspondent Greg Jennett joins us from Parliament House in Canberra. Greg, the Prime Minister's making it clear he's crafted his ministry with an emphasis on stability. Will it achieve that?
Well, there's nothing necessarily provocative about the arrangements that have been made here, Jess. The only people who have lost jobs have walked away from them voluntarily, it seems. And then within Cabinet, you've got some sidewards movements like Michaelia Cash and others just effectively being reshuffled within the Cabinet. Big winners, obviously, in Melissa Price and in Karen Andrews. But the big loser would appear to be Peter Dutton, because by taking immigration out of that Home Affairs mega ministry, it actually marks a fairly serious diminution of his responsibilities and the unwinding of what was a major project of the Turnbull government and of Peter Dutton himself to put that Home Affairs ministry together. So as to its instability or destabilising, there's no reason to think that this carefully calibrated setting should arouse any further bouts of infighting, Jess.
Once Malcolm Turnbull leaves, Scott Morrison does still have a former Prime Minister and a former Deputy Prime Minister on his back bench. What's he doing about them?
Special people who will be given special responsibilities, it appears, Jess. So Barnaby Joyce, in the first instance, he's going to be a special envoy for drought and drought recovery. That's starting immediately. And then Tony Abbott appears to be on some sort of promise that he too could qualify for a special envoy position, but the outline of that job and what area it might cover hasn't been made yet. It sounds like it might need to be the subject of further discussions with the Prime Minister.
Greg Jennett, thanks so much.